We're here this afternoon, because of the action that the county executive has taken against children in Westchester County. This is a move that's going to hurt every working parent, but especially those parents who have incomes less than $30,000 per year or below the poverty level. Two things that are happening. One, the Title 20 money is being held at the total number of youngsters in the program currently, which is 206, and we've just gotten a temporary restraining order from the courts on this issue as of earlier this week, and that means that the amount will be able to be held in place at least through November 5th. The other is a additional 15% raising the parent share for child care from 20% to 35%. This is a huge hardship on parents in Westchester County, most of which are working mothers. This means that these parents are going to have to pay roughly $1,500+ per year increase in their current child care costs. It makes for, in most cases, it makes for the difference between a parent being able to afford to go to work and rely on safe child care programs or being on public assistance. This is not right for Westchester County, and most importantly, there's a damage to the families, there's damage to the children. It seems like really coming at this time of the year when we only have approximately 10 more weeks in our calendar year, and the county's budget is based on the calendar year, it seems just a cruel, mean-spirited way to punish working mothers in Westchester County. I'm not going to speak much longer. I invite some of our guests to speak up, and we'll start with State Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousins.
Thank you, Alfreda. You know, listening to you and listening to the what's at stake here reminds me of when I was a working mother, single, dependent, in order to continue working on daycare. So I think it's really important to recognize that, again, these are working parents who, but for daycare, would not be able to pursue a life that indeed contributes to Westchester County. Had there not been daycare, I doubt, frankly, whether I would be a senator, because I would not have been able to work. And my children benefited, my family benefited, and ultimately it allows me to stand here and say, we have 10 more weeks. Whatever the issues are between allocations or not can be resolved. We have another budget that begins next year. Let the children remain in their daycare settings, being nurtured in safe environments, because that's ultimately what this is about. It's a safe environment for children to be nurtured and educated and family supported in their objectives. I urge the county executive to let the children stay, move forward, and create an environment that is really child-friendly and certainly daycare-friendly, and certainly for all of our citizens, including our low-income working parents. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call everyone's attention to the chart that's to my left and your right. This is the average monthly family share for low-income daycare in 2012. Under the budget that was passed by the County Board of Legislators, the 20% family share for safe, affordable, educational child care was $178 a month. That's already a pretty big bite out of paychecks of women who may only be making $20,000 or $25,000 or $30,000 a year. but it's a price they are willing to pay because they want to be part of the middle class. They want to be sure that their children are being set a good example, and they want to be sure that they will be able to continue, work hard, and do well in life for themselves and for their families. On the other hand, the county executive has unilaterally raised the family share, the average family share, from $178 a month to $311 a month. We're talking about a difference of $133 a month. Where do families making $25,000 and $30,000 a year come up with that kind of money? We all know that that's the difference between shoes that fit and shoes that don't fit, milk and fruit in the fridge, and nothing in the fridge. This is not right, especially when you consider the fact that we have the money in the budget. We have a projected surplus in the Department of Social Services for over $7 million, which is several times the amount of money we need to keep the parent share at 20% as opposed to 35%. And there have been other issues with the budget that have come up. On all of them, the county executive's office has said, let's wait till the end of the year and we'll deal with it then. Why is he singling out working families who want desperately to provide an example for their children and come up to the middle class? Why is he singling them out for the kind of punishment that will either put their children in risky child care situations or will put them on the welfare rolls? This is morally wrong. This is bad for our society economically, and I urge the county executive to reverse course on this. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. About 30 years ago, we had breakfast with the then county executive, Ed Brady, and some of the other county legislators who had never addressed daycare. It was the time to educate our policymakers. Now, we've had a lot of experience. So why does a new county executive need to be educated? We're talking about families who pay about a third of their income for rent. We're talking about families where both parents, or sometimes a single parent, has to work away from home. We're talking about children who are at risk if good, clean, safe daycare is not available. Now, it isn't as if Westchester County can't afford this. You heard from our legislators, affordability in the budget has been addressed. So if necessary, we'll have breakfast with our county executive and educate him. Because part of this is a misunderstanding of what working families are all about. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Kathy Hallis. I'm Executive Director of the Child Care Council of Westchester. And I am very sorry to be here today trying to make an argument for a case that I think was made a long time ago. Somebody said, those who don't pay attention to history are in danger of repeating it. And I feel that we are doing that right now. Back in 2006, we were able to document the fact that there were many people who found child care in Westchester unaffordable. At that time, the copay was 33%. And over several county budget years, a series of steps were enacted to begin to build an affordable quality system of child care with the understanding that there would be collective payoffs There was a scholarship program. The copay, as I said, actually finally got down to 10% of household income, over 100% of the federal poverty level. Title 20 was open. For the past 2 years, we've seen a steady erosion of that approach to child care, which had taken so many years to develop. And what's on the chopping block now is even more serious. We have been hearing from parents and from child care businesses all over the county, and there are 750 child care businesses in the county employing thousands of people, that if these changes go through, many people will be pulling their children out of child care. They'll be cutting back the hours. Classrooms will be closed. Staff will be laid off. This will not just affect programs serving urban, low-income families. There are many child care programs who make it a point of pride to serve diversified communities. Loss of subsidized revenue for them will destabilize them as well. So you're talking about really tearing apart what is essentially the farm team for the public schools. And at a time when everybody at every level of government is talking about the economy and about getting people to work and developing a workforce that has the skills that we need for the jobs of the future, why would we do this? It makes absolutely no sense. So we are calling on the county executive to reverse course on this and refrain from doing what might appear on the face a good idea in the short term, to really invest in what we need to make the county stronger. I was at a public meeting in Mount Vernon just last week, and there was a mother there who said she had gone to college, and she was separated from her husband. She had a child. She had a lot of college debt, and she was starting her professional career, and she hoped to go further. And she made it very clear that if the copay went to 35%, she would no longer be able to afford to send her child to the regulated child care program he was in. And she asked the question, which I guess is the essence of all of this. She said, what is it that people expect me to do? Because I thought I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. I went to school. I'm taking good care of my child. I'm making sure that he's in a quality program. And if I lose this little bit of help at this point in time in my life, I won't be able to continue. What is it that I'm doing wrong? So that's my question to the county executive. What is the vision for all these folks who are doing jobs that are important jobs in the county that don't pay enough for people not to need child care financial assistance? And it is my hope again that the county executive will reverse course and fund child care and help us get back on course to building a high-quality system that will support Westchester County for generations to come. Thank you.
Good afternoon. As we all know, this is a very, very serious issue. But let me bring it home. Let me tell you what happens at Lois Bronz Children's Center. The center was opened about 45 years ago. Last year, about 15 months ago, the center was slated to perhaps close because of a lot of things, including mismanagement of monies. With the help of the staff that we have and outside sources and other resources, we said last year we're back in black, meaning that we're able to keep our doors open. We are able to provide the kind of care that our young people need. If this becomes a reality for us and for 40 students, that will affect approximately 40 students who may not have services here. If you look at it monetarily, that's about $500,000 a year. We have an excellent staff. We've raised the level of our staff members to care about what we do. This could be really devastating to the Lois Bronz Children's Center. So I am saying to the county executive, think about what you're doing. Put yourself in the place where kids are. We urge you to come by and visit our center so you can see what we do on a daily basis. And perhaps then you will understand how difficult this will be for lots of our families, not to mention staff members. Those staff members who have children, those staff members who are about to have babies, who may not be able to bring their little ones here. Not to mention the staff members who may have to be laid off. And that's the last thing we want to do. So I'm asking you, the county, to please look at what you're doing and have mercy and respect on the little people that we all serve. Thank you.
I want to thank you all for coming this afternoon and reiterate the fact that an increase in the family share is equivalent, the 20 to 35% increase is equivalent to a 75% increase in costs for these families. It's the same as if a 75% increase in your gasoline prices is currently you're paying roughly $4.10, $4.15 per gallon. A 75% increase in that cost would make it over $7, $7.30 per gallon. Is this fair to working families who are trying so desperately to make it in Westchester County? Again, and finally, we ask the county executive to have some compassion and have some understanding of the fact that young people need safe environments, regulated environments, so that they can grow and learn and be a credit to their society later on. We know that education taking place between age 2 and 6 is the most fundamentally important level of education in their entire future. This sets the pattern for future learning. So therefore, if we want an educated, interested, law-abiding citizenry in the future, we've got to provide the basics for them, and the basics start in child care, in early childhood care that starts at age 2, 2.5, 3 years old. So we're asking him to make sure that these kinds of programs are able to continue in Westchester County, and make sure that working families, especially working mothers, aren't punished for the fact that they seek upward mobility, because we've all told them that this is the way to go, to get educated, to rise above, to earn more, to be better educated, and therefore be a credit to your families and your children. That message needs to continue. So, Mr. Astorino, you need to hear this, because these people vote. And we want very definitely to make sure that they get out and vote in November of this year, 2012, but most assuredly in November of 2013, when you're up for re-election. Thank you again for coming.